Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I am excited about my next guest. As you guys have seen from some of the posts, I have Regina here with me, and I'm just excited. We actually got connected on Clubhouse, y'all. I tell you
Yes.
guys about Clubhouse, but I'm so excited about this interview because we got on a Zoom call and, you just getting to know people. And she was like, yeah, I got this story. And I was like, girl, you need to get that story out. And so I connected her with somebody, and she has a journal that is coming out. So I am so excited to talk to you. And it's Authors Day, right?
Yeah.
National Authors Day. I thought this would be great and appropriate for her to come on, tell us about her journey and that type of thing. But before we get into some great conversation, I want to give her the opportunity to introduce herself.
All right. My name is Regina Pittman, and I am so excited to be here. I'm a nurse, I'm a mom, now a wife, but now an author. And yeah, so I mean, literally I've just been, working as a nurse. And then I don't know, God just kind of led me with you sowing the seed to become an author.
Mhm.
And so I've been a nurse for
I
16
think
years.
that is just awesome.
Yes. I've been a
Wow.
nurse for 16 years. Just started a business called Walls That Talk. It's a basically what I do is create walls for parties, and I'm enjoying that. And
Oh,
now I got painkiller. Yeah.
I love that. Now, so how did you come up with, we all have stories and things. I mean, 16 nursing, I can only imagine, how
Mhm.
to juggle family and being a nurse. And then you've got COVID. I mean, just by itself, that's crazy. But then having your family and your kids, that was the story. But how did you really kind of narrow it down to determine for your journal, what you would actually put in there?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of, my thing was always as a nurse, I was always intrigued with, what kind of led people to the hospital. We deal with all
Mhm.
kind of diseases, and we know food and environment and just things happen to our body. But the thing that I was most attracted to was pain. And
Mm.
the majority of our population comes in to the hospital with pain of some sort, whether it be from an illness or from anything. It's usually, that's what brings them there. They start having
Mhm.
pain, and they're like, I'm having this pain here. Can you figure it out? And I mean, I was most attracted to the population who came in and couldn't figure out. We check the stomach. What's happening? Nothing's happening. Doctors are like, we don't see anything. So that would be the patient I would, if I had them, I would go in the room and just start talking to them. And what I found out was
Mhm.
a lot of it was emotional. They were coming to the hospital exhibiting pain from, all the other areas of their bodies, but really it was pain from emotion. And it was just
Mm.
it was looking like or feeling like the pain was being felt in the stomach or in the whole body. We would get that, oh, my whole body hurts, or it's just right here. And what I found
Mhm.
was a lot of us, we are in emotional pain, and that pain looks like or feels like it's coming out of the body, but really, it's just that's just what's happening. You're in emotional pain. Soon as the emotional pain is
Wow.
gone, they talk about the problem or figure out what to do about the problem. They feel better. They're ready to go home.
That is awesome. Yeah, and I think, having the patience to understand that,
Yeah.
how is it that, when you would talk to those people, because I think it takes an element of being
Mhm.
trusting, for them to trust you to be able to let you know about their emotional pain. What do you think
Yeah,
is the key for other nurses, or just, sometimes that could be with your own kids, I mean, they have some pain and,
absolutely.
how do you get them to trust you to be able to share that?
I mean, I don't know. I think that when people genuinely feel that you care. You know, I would go in my patients' rooms, and sometimes I would just sit down on the couch and just ask them, how, you know, how's your day? You know, how's your family
Mhm.
taking it that you're in the hospital? It's just establishing that relationship with them. And most of the
Mhm.
time, you don't even have to ask questions. They just start telling you stuff. I never really went in a room and was like, what's happening? You know, I just sat down and had casual conversations. And before I knew it, my
Mhm.
patient was spilling their whole life story to me, because in a few
Mm.
seconds they felt like, I can talk to you, and they're in pain, so they want to talk to somebody. That, you know, most
Mhm.
people who's in pain, they don't, they, you know, most people, some people shut down, but most people will talk to you if they feel like you care and they feel like they can trust you in that moment. And I, you know, I just didn't have that problem. I
Mhm.
just gave them the time. And sometimes I gave them too much time, you know, sitting there, and they like, oh, your patient in the next room needs you. But I would just make them feel like I wasn't rushed. And I don't
Mhm.
know. God just kind of gave me that, the gave me the sense to, and I knew I followed my intuition when I knew somebody needed to talk as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that is great. And so talk to us about the journey, about deciding to write and be an author and what that actually looked like. Because, we were in COVID, all these other things going on. There's people that are watching that are where you were. They feel like I got a story, but then COVID comes or something else. So, what was it that allowed you to press through a lot of life's uncertainty?
Well, I was always a writer. I would write, in a journal. So I would journal, things that I was going through, and I think that kind of helped me. But at the time, I didn't realize that I was overcoming a lot of things until I would go back and read it. So in the process, you don't really realize, oh, I learned this, or until you actually sit down and you write your thoughts and you figure out, oh wow, I learned this from this situation. But the fact of the matter is that I was dealing with depression, just like my patients, dealing with depression, anxiety, going to work every day, looking, you look like you got it all together. But when I would get home, sometimes I was on my bathroom floor crying because I couldn't
Mhm.
figure out
Mhm.
what was happening, why I was feeling this way. My pain came out, sometimes ended up like on the floor crying or feeling like I don't want to be
Mhm.
here anymore. I've had
Mhm.
breakdowns. So we all were in pain, and COVID came, and it was like, whoa, it made you stop and think like, oh my God, I could be here today, gone
Mhm.
tomorrow. You got that element on top of that.
Mhm.
Besides, the people that was losing people and changing, the people that, who wasn't directly affected, who could say, oh wow, I'm gonna do some things differently. Well, I was that person. I decided I
Mhm.
got to do some things differently. I can't no longer let this control my life, but it's there. So, but what
Mhm.
do I do about it? So I use my tool of writing
Mhm.
to, I went back into my notes and I started looking at things and and just started realizing I had been through a lot in my life, and giving myself the grace and giving myself, some understanding and some love, knowing that I've been through these things
Mhm.
and I overcame them. So it gave me the confidence I needed to know, hey, I can really do life. And I think that most people, when you're going through
Mhm.
stuff, sometimes you feel like I can't do life. I just can't. You don't realize how far you've come.
Mhm.
So writing for me was
Amen.
that. And painkiller, we all go to the, for me, we go to the hospital to kill pain. You want the pain gone. So
Mhm.
emotionally, we don't deal with the emotional part a lot of times in the hospital. When people come in emotional pain, we'll send them to, we'll give them resources outside of it, but sometimes people need their emotional needs
Mhm.
met right then and there. And writing for me, it was it.
Mhm.
So I wanted to be relatable. I
Mhm.
wanted people to know that I've been through a lot. So I wanted to tell my story.
Mhm.
So what I did was I broke it down into like 9 sections. I told my story all the way from like depression to fear, all the things we deal with. And
Mhm.
I and it was
Mhm.
it was therapy for me, because as I was writing this journal, I realized, wow, you, Regina, you're good, you're magnificent. You went through all this stuff and you made it. You survived it, and you
Mhm.
learned.
Mhm.
So I then
Mhm.
realized my pain was for a purpose, and that
Mm.
I realized, stop, don't try to numb it. Remember, just while you're going through it, write about it, learn from it, and hopefully you won't have to go through it again. But now I no longer run from pain. I no longer wanted to stop it right away.
Mm.
I'm not trying to kill it right away. I'm when it comes, I'm asking, what am I supposed to do about this? Why is it?
Mm.
What is it here to serve? So that is the question I ask myself now, and that's how I approach it. And then I write
I
about it.
love that.
And so and I came up with painkiller that way. I was like, okay, we're gonna kill some pain. And you know, that's how painkiller came
I
about.
love that. I love that. I mean, that is just awesome. And you said something that really stood out about you gave yourself grace. Talk to
Yes,
us a little bit about that because a lot of people have the same story, through depression. It may look a little different, or, trying to numb that pain, like you said, they're doing it different ways or trying to
right.
avoid it, hide it, whatever. How did you give yourself grace? What
Oh
that
God.
did that allowed you to kinda have that transformation?
Well, I think grace is the one thing we don't give ourselves. We go through things,
Mhm,
we look at all the reasons why it shows up. Oh God, I lost my house, I lost my job. I could have did this, my child is doing this. We look at all the reasons why it's happening, but we don't ever
mhm,
look at the fact that when you go through those things and you learn from those things and you come out better on the other side, or just the fact that you are strong enough to even keep getting up every morning while you're going
mhm,
through those things. You have to just give yourself the grace enough to understand that, look, I'm here, I'm surviving, I'm just strong enough to get up and walk another day. So
mhm,
if you're just there, you got to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself
mhm,
grace, because as long as you're waking up, you have time to get out on the other side, learn what else you need to learn, even if you're not there yet. And grace comes from
mhm.
love. Period. Love. And I had to
Love
learn
it.
to love myself. If you don't feel loved by anybody in this world,
Mhm,
it is your responsibility to give this love, that love you're seeking, to yourself first. And that was the first lesson I had to learn. It's not for mama to give it to you,
mhm,
boyfriend, girl, whoever, husband, wife, children.
mhm,
You have to display that love you're looking for first. And then other people, it's like a mirror. Other people will display it. You have to give yourself
mhm,
that love. You have to give yourself
mhm,
space to receive that love from yourself.
mhm,
Other than that, you're going to just be
mhm,
searching. And so with love, then you're going to give yourself all the grace because you love yourself. You're going to
mhm,
feel like, okay, Regina, or it's okay. Like, I didn't get it this time, but
mhm,
I'm going to get it next time. But that starts with love.
mhm. I love that. I mean, that is so true. And, you just can't dish out what you aren't serving to yourself. And I
Absolutely
think for years I was thinking I was doing that, right?
not.
It's
Yeah.
like you can't pour from a empty, but my cup just is empty, girl, and I'm thinking I'm giving out all kind of goodness to other people, but my cup was empty. I
Yeah.
wasn't filling it back up. So I love that you said that because it starts with you. That's the part of putting your own oxygen mask on first. So I love that.
First. Got to start with you. And I think we get
Yeah.
that mixed up all the time. We look
Mhm.
for other people to give it to us, but
Mhm.
it really starts with you.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm. So true. So now we've got the journal and I mean I just think this is just wonderful and I saw you had an interview with Zandra.
Yeah.
So Zandra TV Network, you're going to be featured on her network, which I'm a part of as well. So we just keep on connecting the dots everywhere. So
I
talk to us
know.
about, yeah, your interview and what that's all about.
Well, so yes, I'm so excited about that interview. I can't wait till that airs. So,
Hmm.
we sat down and we had a conversation about, how Painkiller came about. We talk about myself,
Hmm.
what it was like to walk away from my job, as I walked away from my job to well, and because that was part of my depression, part of what I was dealing with. I wasn't being fed the way
Mm.
I needed to be fed, even though
Mm.
it comes with that loving yourself first. I was going to work every day and I was
Mhm.
healing and helping a lot of people, but my soul was empty. And I identified
Mhm.
that came, work was part of it. Even though I was doing something good,
Mm.
nursing is a noble profession. I was helping and
Mhm.
healing, thousands. I did so much in 16 years and good things, but
Mhm.
I was empty. I was
Mm.
just so
I
empty.
love that.
So I had to take a moment,
Mhm.
and I realized that in COVID, I had to take a moment for myself to figure out, Regina, what is it that you really need? Because we are, one day you are here and the next
Mhm.
day you're gone. And I didn't want to have that regret that I didn't get any fulfillment out of life. And so I'm always be a nurse. And
Right.
as of right now, I don't know where I'm going with nursing, but I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast helping people in another way. And I feel like this is nursing, but
Mhm.
except I'm not in the hospital, but my book is just
Amen.
giving me life. It's giving me life. It's making me want to just like it's something I can definitely do all day with no pay. So that's how I know that
Yeah.
I'm doing what's feeding my soul. And
That is just awesome.
so yeah,
Yeah.
Zandra.
I think it's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing because many people are there at that space, So,
Yeah.
what was it like when, you have your family or friends, coworkers, you're like, this is kind of the end of the road for me. A lot of people think, oh, this is okay. She's just going to switch and do something else. But, you know, all those thoughts about, well, what
Yeah.
about your insurance? Or,
Yeah.
girl, you've been doing this for so long, you don't need to do anything else or
Oh
whatever.
God.
It's something like that smooth transition. You do hear those things. So, how did
Yeah.
you manage that?
I heard all of that. It was hard, but I got to a point where I had
Mhm.
to stop talking about it. And as long as my immediate family, my husband and my children understood, what was happening, and they support me because, it was going to
Mhm.
directly affect them, nobody else. And
Mhm.
they were
Mhm.
supportive. It gave me the strength to do it. I was afraid. I was scary because, like many people, you have fears. You're like, how am I gonna take care of my family?
Mhm.
How am I going to,
Mhm.
provide? What am I gonna do?
Mhm.
And so I had to trust God with all of that. When I had to trust that my
Mhm.
soul was gonna get fed by what I had to trust Him with all of that. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
just being creative and being, you figure out ways to get what to do what you need to do
Mhm.
for your family. And I have to say, we haven't missed a beat. um God has been good.
Amen.
God has been good, and
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I may not have to go back one day, but right now that's not my testimony. um I'm on this path, and I don't know where the path. I'm just following the path. I get quiet.
Mhm.
I listen to God. I do
Mhm.
what I'm told to do in my spirit. And when I do what I'm told to do and I
Mhm.
act upon it, you know, everything just it works out. It just works out.
I love
But
that.
definitely a faith
Now,
walk.
so do you find since you eliminated, your job that you used to do that you can hear clearer what you're supposed to do?
Oh yes. Oh my God. It started. look, it started with me. First of all, I went through a period where after I lost my job, of course, I mean, not lost, when I left my job, I went through that
Mhm.
period where I was like, what did you do? Like, are you nuts?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? Okay. So what next? Because you get up and you're not, you're not with the hustle and bustle with everybody else. So you're just sitting at home. And so it was like, okay. So I go sit on the back
Right.
porch and I just sit. And it got to a point where that started with being able to hear the birds and just being able to hear the wind and
Mhm.
think and hear your thoughts. Because before then, I don't know what I don't know what was going on. It was just too much going on in my head. And little by little, I was able to, that stuff just started kind of going away. And the more I was able to
Mhm.
be still, connect with nature, like take walks. That was something
Mhm.
I would have to get up so early in the morning and figure out how to do that and get kids to school and get to work on time and get home. And by that, oh my God, my life just wasn't set up that way. And as a
Mhm.
nurse, you work long hours, so I was exhausted on my days off. My energy just
Mhm.
wasn't up. It just for me, I just
Mhm.
was my brain, my mind, my body was all out of control. So I was able to get still and
Mhm.
relax and hear better. And now I know the voice. I know I can distinguish the voice
Mhm.
from my voice from, God leading me and saying, do this and do that. Now I know it. And I know when I'm away from it.
Mhm.
So I know when I need to get still, when my
Mhm.
day is chaotic. And so I
Mhm.
try my hardest to stay connected to it. So
Mhm.
I'm able to hear and able to get the guidance I need because now I know and I believe wholeheartedly that I will be led exactly where I need to be.
Mhm.
So, I'm no
Love
longer
that.
afraid. Before, I mean, a year ago,
Yeah.
I'd have been like, you're crazy. I'm not walking away from my job. But, you know, this is where I'm at.
Everything has a season. Yeah, that I think it's just awesome. And I just wanted to highlight that because a lot of people think, oh, when you give up whatever your security or safety net is, that many people think that you have that space to think.
Yeah.
I resonate with that so much because when you're on autopilot and just doing the next thing and everything is mapped out for you and you're running from here and there, you don't have time to think. I mean, I just remember with COVID, I didn't even remember hearing the birds until COVID. When we had to
Right.
stop running back and forth, I was like, wait a minute, y'all, the birds are out there. And,
Hmm.
everything, it's just like a newness, a freshness.
Yeah.
I'm just my story. I don't know about anybody else, but I enjoyed having time to sit down because I had to run my kids all the time to work, school, all these different things. So I appreciate that you shared that. So,
Yeah.
what have you learned most about yourself during this journey with this book? What is it that you do now that you wouldn't have seen yourself doing? But as a result of this journey that you went on.
Well, I've learned that I'm extremely strong. I didn't think, I mean, I heard that from my family and friends, but now I know it from myself, for myself, that I'm strong, I'm
Mm,
resilient, um, I'm creative. I didn't have to think about things. I didn't have to, I'm using my other side of my brain. So I'm learning that, wow, you're pretty creative there. Like you can come up with some things. And I'm learning that now
mhm,
as I'm able to think and, create a little bit. And I think about creativity a lot
mhm,
more. And I'm having fun with it. I realize I
mhm,
love it. And it has me glowing and I'm just so happy about it. And I also realized
mhm,
that I have to stay close to my source, or my life will feel
mm,
it will feel like it to me that is in vain. So I learned to stay
mm,
connected, and I don't ever want to feel like that again. That my life is in vain. I don't care if I have to live under a bridge, and I pray to God I don't ever have to
mm,
do that. But that's just how much I feel like I have to stay connected. And even though I know that God will never land me there, I
Mhm.
know that for sure. Um, but that's how much I need people to understand that when you are connected to the power source, when you connect it, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
God, the universe, when you connect it to it and getting fed daily, that you're just in a better place. You're gonna live life on a whole nother scale. You're gonna see things. I've had
Mhm.
so much fun in the last, oh my God, probably 6 months of my life that I had in the last 30 years of my life with the same amount of kids, same amount of
No.
bills, so much fun, so much joy. And I'm like, wow, why haven't
Yeah.
I been doing this? But with less money,
Mhm.
I don't, with less
Yeah.
money sitting in my pocket right now. I'm like, God, but life is good. And I can truly say that.
Mhm. I love that's awesome, and I think that is the whole thing with having that clarity and focus,
Yeah. And another
knowing
thing
what
is
you
you don't have
want.
to, yeah, another thing is you don't have to figure it all out. You
Yeah.
know, just don't
Now
try to figure
that
it
is
all
a weight lifted.
out. Yeah.
I
You
know,
thought
I
I could do
thought
this
I
or this.
all the
It's like,
answers, girl.
no,
Girl.
just get quiet, get still, and be led.
Mhm.
Be led.
Yeah,
Uh,
that is the great thing.
yeah,
So true.
so
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen from one
Now,
minute
so
to the
what
going.
hey, I know that's right, but you just ready for whatever comes.
I'm
I mean,
ready.
and I think having that place to kinda have that space to think about it is important, because
Yes,
there were times that, you felt like, "Well, oh my goodness, if this happens, it's the end of the world." But when
right,
you have that patience and wisdom and knowledge from just being still, you know that it's not gonna be so hard that you can't handle it.
right,
Because you know that you can just, you know where your source is coming from for the strength, and
yeah.
you only can do what you can do, right?
That's it.
So,
That's it.
that just makes it a lot more manageable. I don't know, it's like we think that we're superhuman,
Mhm.
before when you're dealing with depression, you expecting you need everybody on your shoulders, and, you're not even 100%. So,
Yes,
definitely, it's a totally different, situation to be
right.
in. Mhm. So, what is something that you do now in your daily routine you just feel helps you as well?
I mean, I have a routine. I get up in the morning, and I go down. I have my gratitude list. And
Mhm.
I get up in the morning, and as soon as I open my eyes, I'm thanking God that I'm still here on this side. And I thank God for that. And then I get up and I think about all the things that I'm grateful for, because the one thing I didn't do, I paid attention to all the things that wasn't going right. And of course I still got
Mhm.
things that's not going right, but I don't give them focus so much. So I focus on
Amen.
what's going right, what's good.
Mhm.
What do I need right
Mhm.
now in this moment, which is nothing. So most of the time the answer is nothing in the moment. So
Amen.
I try to live moment to moment, and thank God that for what I do have, and what feels good right now. And then of course I get still, I pray, I get still,
Mhm.
and then after that I'm ready to show up for life, for whatever's gonna happen in the day, for my kids. I'm kind of ready to show up.
I love
And
that.
I
That's
couldn't do that.
amazing.
I definitely didn't do that every morning when I was working. I got from the time I hit
Yeah.
the floor, I was running, trying to get people out, get me out, get there on time.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was so stressful. It was so, oh my God.
Mhm.
And I thank
Mhm.
God for my husband, because he's been a support. He's allowed me,
Amen.
to be able to do this. So, and um, it's just been great.
That is amazing. So, what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you and get a hold of your book?
Okay, so it'll be released on November 20th. And so I do have a website,
Okay.
reginapittman.com. So you can email me. You can get the book through PayProV Publishing. That's the publisher. um,
Mhm.
will help me get this book published. Great publisher, helped me through the whole process. Um, and so,
Amen.
yes. And then also I have email to painkiller@yahoo.com. And of course, you can reach me on Facebook
Okay.
under Regina Pittman. Instagram, I'm Regina Pittman. So, um, yeah, that's all the ways you can get in contact with me.
Awesome. Well, you guys heard it here, November the 20th. Painkiller will be out, and we just are so excited that you were able to spend some time with us so we can hear a little bit more about your journey. It is such an inspirational story, and I encourage those that if something about her story resonates, reach out. That's what it's about. It's about having conversations to help us kind of get out of our own way and get into our greatness. So, what final thoughts do you want to share with everybody today, Regina?
I just want to say, don't try to numb the pain. Find out why it showed up,
Mm,
and find out why it showed up. Figure out, it's something you need to do about it because pain has our pain has purpose, and it showed up for a reason. It's not, God's intent for us to be in pain, but pain is there to serve us. It's there to,
mhm,
get your attention. So whatever it is that's bringing you pain, that's where the change needs to happen. So, work on changing it so you don't have to feel the pain, not numbing it, not putting a band-aid over it. And so painkiller can
amen.
help you do that.
I love
Yeah, it has 9 sections all the way from depression to anger. And it also has some call to
mm,
actions in the end, some resources. So if you can't figure it out
mhm,
by reading my story and write, and it allows you to write yours, then those resources will definitely help.
mhm,
Um, yeah, and I would love to hear people's stories. Write me.
amen.
So
I love that. And that's what it's about, being able to go through this journey together. Many of us, I love what you said earlier about, people already know what they're feeling. They just want to have
yeah,
somebody listen to them.
right.
They know what's going on in themselves. So I think this is very appropriate to remember that. So again, we just want to thank you so much, Regina. I just am
Absolutely.
elated about everything you've done. It's amazing to actually, just meet somebody through a audio app and
Right.
get with them
Thank
on
God
a
for
call. I
Clubhouse.
mean, I'm inspired, okay? Because hey, we had a talk about something and now it's a reality. So I'm
You
just so
sowed a
excited for
seed.
you.
You sowed a
Yeah.
seed.
Amen.
And
Amen.
thank you
So
for that.
I am so excited. So you are so welcome. Hey, because I know that it was greatness. You know what I mean? It's this.
Yes.
And I think that's important to connect with people that, encourage you to do what you already know that you need to do. I mean, I
Yes.
didn't do anything but just remind you, hey, girl, and hook you up with a publisher. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That was a lot for
Yeah,
me.
well, I'm like, look, the publisher, he can handle that without writing. Okay. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
get her to the person that can help her with this journey. And I think that's important. We have to remember that it sometimes takes a village. We can't do it by ourselves.
yes.
Mhm. So we just thank you guys all for watching. Again, if something in
Yes,
this
thank
interview resonates, reach out to Regina. If you were inspired, put your comment in the comments. We would love to hear what things you got from this interview because I think it's just so important to, like she said, don't numb that pain. Find the source so that you can fix it, that you can mitigate it and make it where you don't have to keep dealing with it over and over again. So again, Regina, we wish you the best, and that's a great time for your journal to come out right before Thanksgiving. It's
Yes.
time for us to really think about the things that we're grateful for. So
That's right.
we are grateful for you,
Thank
grateful
you.
for all you guys that watched us today. So we look forward to great success for you, Regina. And for those of you watching, we want to thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon. And we will see you all on the next episode. Bye for now.